everyone, this is Brandy. I'm a furniture painter out of Sacramento, California, and I'm with Brush by Brandy. And I'm here today because I'm going to be showing you guys how to use Prima, redesign with Prima molds, decor molds, and we're going to be applying them onto these projects I've been working with. So it's these here. I'm going to tip my camera down a bit so you can see what I'm working on. So you guys come on and let me know if you're watching and where you're watching from and why my head is cut off. Hi Diane! Yay, somebody's on. Sorry, let me try to get my head back on the screen along with all my stuff. Okay, so what I'm working on, or what I've been working on, it'll refocus in a second. Is that better? Okay, so what I've been working on is I'm working on these jewelry chests. So these are just little jewelry boxes, and I'm hooked on these jewelry boxes because they look like miniature dressers. This one's missing the hardware, but I've got a few of them out here. So they come looking like this. This is a jewelry box, but I'm a furniture painter, and so I work on dressers all the time, and this has all the same features as a dresser does. So I've got a few of these in my own home, and this is one example, but this is what it would look like beforehand. And I pick these up usually at thrift stores, the Goodwill, for, you know, under $5 a piece. I'll show you this one here. You know, what a cool piece this one is. So I like to redo these, and they're a perfect opportunity to use techniques that you want to try on a full-size furniture piece, and use them on a smaller scale to practice with. So I worked on these last night, and I painted this one here is done in Dixie Belle paint, and in the bottom I have cobalt, and then it fades into mermaid tail on this one. And then I used the redesign molds, and I added this applique to the top, and I think it just adds so much more interest than just the plain box itself. So I'm going to put the hardware on here, and I've got this on the top and some waxes, and it's just a really pretty, you know, feminine little touch. So the one I'm going to be working on today is this one here. This one has Dixie Belle Amethyst, and it fades into Lucky Lavender, and then soft pink on the top. Or I'm sorry, pink champagne is what I've got on the top. Hi Sandy, hi Prima, I'm guessing that's Carrie. How are you guys? So let me show you what I have out today. And you guys, I just was playing with this resin last night. I've used the redesign molds with Prima paper clay, and I love the paper clay. The paper clay gives you more of an authentic, like a, oh, what's the word I'm thinking of? You know, it'll crack and it looks aged like a vintage applique would on a piece of furniture. So it gives you more of that authentic vintagey feel. The resin comes out with a really clean, crisp feel. So both of them have their place, but today we're going to be using the resin. So I have a whole huge mess of stuff out here today. So this is the resin I use, and I just picked this up at my local Michael's store. In the store, this was about $25, but they do their 40% off coupons all the time. So this is the resin I use. I have a link to this in the comments. It's about $14.99 on Amazon. And you can get several molds out of this. So move all this stuff away, and I'll tip my camera down so you can see my hands. Okay, so my face is cut off. I can read your guys' comments. So we're going to open this kit together, and it comes in here with 2 bottles, and then these little measuring cups here. So what you do is it's a 1-to-1 ratio, 1-to-1 mix. So you're going to take each of your bottles, and let me go back for a second. The mold I'm going to use, I'm just going to use a small one here on camera. I'm just going to do this little mold right here, and I'm going to add it to the face of my piece right on here, because this top drawer doesn't have a piece of hardware on it, so I thought a little applique would add some interest. And that's exactly what it would be on your furniture piece. It would just add that extra little bit of interest. Sorry, I really... Coupon, what? Yeah, who pays regular price for anything? So I'm going to take my little cups, and I'm going to add 1 part into 1 cup. I'm going to just do, let's see, we'll do 1 tablespoon. So I learned last night playing with this that you don't want to mix more than you need because this stuff will set up really fast. So you want to pour it into your molds right away. Even if you have excess that you've mixed, go ahead and pour it into an extra mold because it will just start setting up right away once we mix these two together. So I'm going to put this in here to my 1 tablespoon mark. These go up to 2 tablespoons, but that was actually quite a bit because it set up on me too fast last night and I ended up wasting some of the resin when it set up quicker than I could work. Okay, so, and then I have just a red Solo cup here that I'm going to mix them in. So I'm going to take, this is disposable, I'm going to take my 2 mixtures and then I've got a little stirring stick. You want to have your mold on hand and ready because like I said, you need to pour right away once you mix them. Hi guys. Oh yeah, aren't these cute? So again, I'll go back and what we're working on today is these are little, they look like little dressers. They're little mini dressers and I'm hooked on them. I've got one for my jewelry box. I love them for little gifts and for playing with techniques on. So I've got 3 of these actually that I'm working on right now. But what we're doing here is I've added some appliques to the top and I'm adding one to the front of this little piece right here. All right, ready? This makes me nervous. Hi Betty, how are you guys? Okay, I'm gonna pour these in and then we're gonna get pouring. Should probably be wearing gloves because I am working with chemicals here. I'm gonna mix these really quick and then it needs to go into my mold. I'll move back. So I mixed too much, so I'm pouring these into extra molds and I will use them on a piece later. I don't know what it's gonna be, but I'd rather have it since I've got the resin mixed. I have quite a bit extra. I'm ending up from that 1 tablespoon mixture, I'm gonna make about 5 appliques here. Which sounds crazy, but I've got the resin mixed, so I'm just gonna pour these. Yeah, so that 1 tablespoon of each, I got 1, 2, 3, I got 6 little molds out of. So you guys saw how fast that is. I'm gonna bring my camera down and show you guys what it looks like in the mold. So you can see here where I've poured them. I've got 3 in this one, and then I've got 3 in this one here. And they start turning white as it starts setting up. So you can see this one here is starting to set up. I'm probably just gonna be able to get one of these small ones out while we're on camera here. But then I also have these other ones here. I'm gonna push it out into the mold a little bit. Sometimes it gets just caught up on the edges. You don't wanna over pour either. You want it to be level with the top of your mold. So, and then I just push it out into any edges where it might have got stuck and the liquid didn't settle all the way. So now I've got those poured. I'm going to set those aside. In about 5 minutes or so, we'll come back and we'll look at those and they'll be set up. You'll see that they will have turned white and hardened. So for now, let me set all this stuff aside and we'll work with some gilding waxes while those are setting up. Okay. So I'm just going to push these aside. They're still liquid, so I don't want to move them too much and let those set up. But in the meantime, I'm going to come over to this one that I already have done. Remove all my mess. So once these harden, I just popped it right out of the mold, and you'll notice I didn't prepare my mold with anything. I just went straight into the clean mold. Do you have to put anything in the mold? No, it's just my clean mold. So when I use paper clay, I usually line my mold with some cornstarch beforehand. I just brush it with cornstarch. Oh, thank you. Okay, the white dries quickly, but the clear takes overnight. Okay, and I am working with the white, so that's good to know. I guess I got the right one. I need the fast one. So let's see, I just poured them into my clean mold. And then once I popped it out of my mold, I had this applique here. And for this one, I used this mold here. And I did each one of them. And for these, this is so intricate that the resin really gets those fine details of the mold really well. So I have a link to this in the title of this post as well. You need a jewelry box. Everybody needs a pretty little jewelry box. I won't tell you who these are going to be for. These are actually going to be for some friends of ours, but don't say that, okay? And I hope they're not watching. I doubt they are. So I'm going to take this one here. I just attached it with some Gorilla Glue wood glue, which I also linked in the title of this post. And then I'm going to take these are the new decor waxes from Redesign with Prima. They come in little tins like this, and they come in several different colors. There's probably, I don't know, Prima, maybe you guys could tell me how many of these you guys have. So I'm going to work with silver. I thought the silver would be a really pretty complement to this piece. This one here had the cobalt blue on it, so I used Gravity, which is a deep blue wax. And I dug it into the details a little more in some areas, a little less in others. I use a combination of Gravity and Diamond Dust. So you guys, I have to tell you, if you have to choose a redesigned wax, this Diamond Dust is my die-hard favorite. I love the color of it on everything. It's beautiful. It's like a champagne color. Let me open that one. It's got some blue in it because I was using it with the blue. It goes on so beautiful. Have you had a chance to use the artisan powder? I haven't, but I saw your piece, Kristana, that you used it on, the pink one, and it's awesome. So I have some new stuff coming from them, and I'm excited to try out. Let me grab a brush. No, the artisan powders, I'm excited to give those a try. I'm a little behind, you guys. As you guys know, I'm building a house. The Gravity wax is like cobalt. Yeah, it was a perfect combination with the cobalt on the base of this to put some cobalt waxes on here. So I like these little brushes here. These are just a natural bristle short brush, and I'm going to dip it into my gilding wax. Just a little dab. So I just have my tips covered. And then I'm going to take my piece here, and I'm just going to dry brush this over the top. I just want to catch the high points. And it really accentuates, you can tell already the portion I've done versus where I haven't done, how it just brings out the detail in that. You kind of couldn't see it because it's tone on tone. But as I just hit those high points with a little bit of wax, it adds some sparkle. It looks a little bit aged. Look what a difference that made. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. So then where I might have too much, I can come back and I can buff this out a little bit. And it will shine it a little bit. I really like that. It's very soft and feminine. I'm gonna add a little bit more, I think, out here around the edges. You guys, all of these products I'm using today are all available on Amazon. I know, Kristana, look how pretty that is. And this would be pretty. So I also brought out some of my my Dixie Belle gilding waxes. This is one of their new ones, which is Anastasia. And I thought it would be pretty with the purple because it's a red, like a ruby red color. Yeah, this wax is super creamy. So I'm going to put some on my finger here just so you can see the texture of it. It's super soft. Super soft. So it does, it spreads beautifully, and you can use it on your finger like this as well. You could take it, and if you just wanted to hit some of the high points here and just brush it on with your finger. I do that a lot, just use my finger to dab it on, or if you just want to get like a clean line around something, just use your finger with it. So I'll give you guys an update on our resin that we're waiting for. I'm going to come down here. Can you guys see it starting to turn white? So they're not set up yet, but the liquidity in it is gone. Can you see how it's not moving? Like they've still got some sheen on it, but it's not moving when I move the molds now. Now they're still not hard. To the touch, it's still a little soft. But they are starting to set up. They've got that white over the top. So I think a few more minutes and then we can pull that out. So I wanted to use my Anastasia gilding wax. So I'm going to take this and just a little artist brush, and I'm just going to get a little on here. This is a Dixie Belle product, one of their new gilding waxes. And I'm going to try to do this, and I'm going to kind of feather some of this in just around the edges of the flower. I really like this Anastasia color against, it's really pretty against pinks and purples. It's a ruby red color. But you'll be able to see when I'm done how it just adds some shading detail to this applique. I like these appliques. So say you have a very, see how that just brought out the detail around the edges here, the combination of those colors. You know, I can take some and put out here on the edges too. So this is what gilding wax is for. Gilding wax is really for giving the details of your piece some extra character. I'm new to all this mixed media stuff. This is, you know, a lot of the Prima products are for mixed media craft purposes, and learning to use them on furniture pieces has been incredible because this opens up so many new worlds. So say you have a very flat, plain front piece. These decor molds are a very easy way that you can add appliques. If you go to Hobby Lobby, an applique like this is going to be anywhere from $10 to $20 to purchase one. The resin ones that they sell in the store are $10 to $20. So this here, between the cost of the mold and then the cost of the resin, you can get several of these for a fraction of that cost. So with just the little bit of resin that I mixed up earlier in this video, I'm going to get 6 molds out of it. So I'm going to hold them up again. I'm still not going to pop it out, but I just want to show you guys what it looks like through the process. So that's what they look like now. They've still got some sheen on them. They're going to be flexible when I pop them out. And so if you have a curved piece, like actually my chest here has a little bit of curvature to the front of it. You see that? While my mold is soft, after I just pull it off, I'll be able to form it to the front of this. I'm realizing right now I did not bring my glue in with me, so we'll have to kind of simulate the glue part. So that's my decor wax. I think I'm going to add a little bit. Oops. You know what else I wanted to show you with these waxes? So I did this earlier today. They have no top coat on them. You can wipe these. They seal themselves. I get a lot of questions about, do you need to put a sealant over those? Nothing. So these waxes are their own protectant. You don't need to seal over the waxes once you're done. They will cure and harden just like a regular wax would. If you need to take them off, mineral spirits will take them off. You can also go over it with a bit of clear wax and rub it, and it will take it off if you get some excess in places that you don't want. I also took, when I did mine earlier, and if I got some into these small areas that I didn't want, I just took a Q-tip and I just wiped those away. Cleaned up the little areas, the little recesses in my piece. So yeah, I love that color too. That Anastasia gilding wax, and then against the silver. So the redesigned silver color was called Shiny Star, is what I used on this here. So I'm going to add on this one, I wanted to add a little bit of shimmer just around the edges with the cobalt gilding wax. So I'm going to take this one here while we're still waiting for our resin to set up. And I'm going to add a little bit more shimmer around the base of it. Look how rich this is, you guys. That is beautiful. So these would go right, once you top coat your furniture piece, these would go right over the top. And I'm just going to feather some of this in just for some metallic around the edges. I'm just using a very soft hand and kind of feathering the wax in. It's going to give that nice shaded effect, but I'm using blue for the shading. You know, very subtle, but I can see in person it's got just a hint of shimmer to it. It also helps pull out some of the details that are on the front of this. I don't know if you can tell where I added it to the corners a little bit. So I don't like this spot right here is a little heavy. And I'll just wipe that back a little bit. So that was just ever so slightly. I'll hit the top of this one again here too. Ever so slightly, just taking your brush and hitting those high points. And you can see it starts to bring out the raised detail in the mold. Okay, so I'm checking my resin again. So I'll show you guys. You can start to see that if I pop it, it's starting to separate from my mold. So we're getting there. Still a little bit sticky, but look how quickly that's set up. It's not turned all the way white here. So we'll wait for that to get white. So then once I pop those out, I just took a brush and I brushed the back of it with Gorilla Glue. Wood glue is the one that I like to use. And then I just attached it to my piece. I chose on these to paint them beforehand so that when I put them onto the body of the piece, I just had to touch up a little bit, but otherwise my applique was already painted the color of the body. And then I didn't have to try to get into these recesses and let my paint gum up around the edges, so I painted it before I stuck it onto the body. And the molds come in so many different patterns. So, you know, I'm using them on a small scale here, but you can combine these to make really, really intricate appliques for your piece. You know, most of them have the same style, like this one's a little bit different, but where you can combine these and put them, you know, all the way across a piece. They even have some, I have one to make faux keyholes, and then this one that can make like little label pieces too. What brand of resin am I using? So this is the resin I have. It's amazing resin. This is the box it comes in. It's amazing casting resin is what it's called. Turns white and cures in 10 minutes. So we just combine these into the little cups and pour it straight into the mold. I have a link to that resin on the top of this post if you guys want to take a look there. So I'm tempted to go grab my glue so that I can actually attach this with you guys. Yeah, let me go grab my glue really quick. Hang on. Sorry about that, guys. So this is the glue that I like to use. This is Gorilla Glue wood glue. This will last forever. There's a ton of it in here. And once we pop these out, I'm going to attach it to my piece using a little bit of this. So it'll be worthwhile that I made you guys wait and grab that. So let's play with some more waxes. I think our molds are still setting up. Yeah, they're popping away, but it said 10 minutes. So how long have we been on now? I can't tell. Honestly, you guys, this was so easy. I was surprised by how easy it was. I was a little stressed. Just, you know, casting resin sounds far more sophisticated than I am. And I was surprised how easy it was to use. So let's see, where else would I want a little bit of silver on this piece? I'm thinking, I definitely want some on the applique we're going to put on the front, but I don't have that on yet. So, I know, I'm nervous. Sometimes less is more, you know. I'm adding a little bit of the silver gilding wax, and I showed you guys how soft this is. They smell like heaven too. They have almost a lemony smell. They smell very fresh and clean. So I combined that with my Anastasia gilding wax, which is a red. You don't have to add anything to the mold before pouring the resin. Yeah, it was so easy. I'm almost upset that I know this now because I'm going to put these on everything. So these were the larger ones that we poured. Oh yeah. And they're starting to pop too. They're a little flexible. I don't want to pull them out too soon. Oh, this one's going nice. Can you see that pulling away right there? It's still a little early. Yeah, that one's pretty hard though. Let's see if I can get it out. This one I did last is still a little earlier than the other ones. Yeah, still a little early, guys. I don't want to rush that because I'll ruin the mold. All right, so I'm just going to play with some more waxes then. What else should we add to these? Like I said, I'm in the less is more, you know. I don't want to be, yeah, I'm like I just poured 6 appliques right here, just sitting here. So now I've got to use them on something, right? So I'm just going to feather in a little bit more of this blue cobalt gilding wax, and you can see I'm just going to bring out these raised panels a little bit. It doesn't take a lot. A little bit goes a long way. Maybe I'll add some down here on top of this cobalt. So this is Dixie Belle cobalt paint, but with this gilding wax. What was this one called? Galaxy? So, oh, Gravity, I'm sorry. With the Gravity gilding wax. You bought several already. So, on top of the cobalt, see, I get the sheen from the light, but it's just a really pretty shimmer in person. Like, this gilding wax was meant to go on top of Dixie Belle cobalt. Just barely any on my brush, and I'm just adding a little bit of shimmer. It intensifies that blue. This is Dixie Belle Mermaid Tail fading into cobalt on this piece here. And the other one is Amethyst, Lucky Lavender, and Pink Champagne. Gilding waxes can be used, you can use this in a very thin layer all over your piece too. If you wanted to add that iridescent quality to your whole furniture piece, see where I touched it, I have put that silver on my finger and I touched this. I'm just going to use clear wax. Here, I'm going to take a bit of clear wax on my finger and I'll put it here where I had that fingerprint, and it will wipe away. So it just cleans right up with clear wax. You guys, waiting for this resin is killing me. I'm not very patient, can you tell? Ah, they're still gummy. The first one I poured is obviously the most ready to come out. I know, if I wasn't on camera right now, I'd just let this sit for 10 minutes, but because I'm here showing you guys, I want to pop it out prematurely. So it's flexible, but it's firm. I think I'm going to get this one out. Like I said, a little early, so if I was being more patient, this would come out easier. I've seen other people do this, but for some reason, like the word resin always just made me incredibly nervous. So this is this is one of them. This was the first one I poured. But you're asking about my wax brushes. So no, I like these little wax brushes for detail waxing. I will feather in dark and brown waxes, black and brown waxes on a piece using these little, these are Art Minds brushes, natural bristle. I think you can get them at Walmart. I have a link to them. I'll put in the post actually when we're off. So here's one of our little appliques. Can't see the glare. So we'll go ahead and work with this one since I have it out. I'm going to take this and I'm going to paint it before I put it onto a piece. So I'm just going to lay it out here, and I'll take, what color do I want? I'm going to use, I think, the Lucky Lavender. And I will paint right onto this resin that we just molded. I'm working on. How do you clean a brush with wax in it? That's a great question. I just use Dawn dish soap. Wax is oil base, and Dawn removes grease, right? So it cuts right through the oil base of the wax. I don't rinse my wax brushes after every use. You can also store wax brushes in a Ziploc bag, and it will keep that wax on your brush from hardening in between uses. But I wash mine out every few uses. Or for example, if I'm using it on the gilding wax, because they have these, they're so concentrated in color, I'll wash this out after every use because I don't want this to get onto my next piece. So I just take the brush and I'll put a little bit of dish soap. Have you guys seen these? Have you guys seen these brush cleaners? They're actually for makeup brushes, but I got these for my brushes and I like them. So I'll just put a little bit of dish soap in here with some water, and I'll sit and scrub my brush like this until it's clear, and then I just rinse it out. And this is so much better than me rubbing this brush into my hand with the waxes and stuff on here. Although the Prima waxes are very clean, you know, some waxes have harsher chemicals in them, and so I like these brush cleaners because I can really clean. It has little teeth in it, and I can clean my brush out on a little brush cleaner. So these are makeup brush cleaners that I got from, I think this was from Ross or Marshall's or something. And I've got a few of those. So we pulled out this one applique and I painted it. How cute is that? So I just did a small one as an example. It's still got a little bit of give in it. It's flexible, where if I had curvature to the front of my piece, I could curve this to the shape of my piece. I also got a great tip from one of my followers today that you can use little nail scissors to trim these. If you're, so for example, right here, I poured a little bit too much resin and I've got a little part hanging off. I could just take a little pair of cuticle scissors and cut that off to get a nice clean mold. So that was it. We've been on camera for about 10 or 15 minutes. Oh, my brush cleaner, Diane, that's from, I think it's from Marshall's. Yeah, I'll find one and I'll link that in the post for you guys. But it's nice to have. So these are still setting up here. So what I would do next is I would take my little applique, take my Gorilla Glue wood glue, and I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to brush this onto the back of it. Got a little glue over the top of my, I've linked most everything I'm using. Yeah, at the drugstore. Yeah, it's a makeup brush cleaner. It's for cleaning your makeup brushes, which they really are great for your makeup brushes too. You just wear it on your hand like a little glove and you can clean your brush out like that. So I'm going to do a little dab of the glue on the back of my applique here, and I'll brush it around so I get good coverage. I don't want the glue to run out on the sides of the applique, so you want to try to not use too much if possible. So I would take this, and like I said, I chose to paint mine beforehand, so I have all the curvature painted. I don't have to try to dig into those crevices while it's on my piece. And then I would stick it on the front. So on here. Now on this particular one, this is not the applique I want to use. The one I want to use is still drying. So I don't want to stick this on there. But that was an example of what you do. So I put this on here, and then you saw we added the gilding waxes earlier in the video. So you just add your gilding waxes from there. So these are still hardening. You can see they're starting to pop on the edges, but they're still a little soft. And I don't want to pull them out too soon. And they're a little gummy on the back. When this hardens, you guys, it will be fully hard. So anyway, that's how simple it is. So I don't want to keep you guys on any longer, but there we used just the redesigned decor molds, and I've linked the mold that I used on these jewelry boxes in the post, which was this one here. That particular mold has two designs on it. So it's got these two designs on it. We used amazing casting resin, and you wait about 10 minutes and then it pops right out of the mold. I didn't have to put anything on my mold beforehand. I chose to paint mine, and then using Gorilla Wood Glue, I just popped it on. Hey Stephanie, how are you? I haven't talked to you in a while. It is so easy to do, Denise. Honestly, it's so easy to do. I'm actually kind of upset that I learned this, because now I'm going to be putting them on. Careful not to leave it in the mold too long. It hardens like a, you know, I had a throwaway one from last night. I would show you. It hardens like a hard plastic. So no, it's not going to hurt your mold at all. It hardens like a hard plastic. So it would just set up and you could come back and get it later. So you could pour these and come back to them after a while and pop them all out if you wanted to pour several at one time, which is a great idea because then you've got, you know, preformed appliques ready to use on your pieces. And they come in so many different designs. You know, you can line them up and do a whole scroll work detail. So yeah, I'll go ahead and let you guys go and get back to your evening, but that was kind of it. That was using casting resin to pour a mold. So these are still drying and setting up. It said 10 minutes, might be closer to 15, we'll see. When I'm done with these pieces though, I'm going to post them here in the group so you guys will see what they look like done, and then we use some of the redesign gilding waxes. Those are all available on Amazon. There's a whole bunch of different colors, and then like I said, Diamond Dust is my hard go-to favorite. So you guys go get back to your evening. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you guys soon.